So what I just want to talk about, and in 8 minutes, is about just my experience in social media and authenticity in medicine, building a brand, investing in your practice, and marketing to patients. So I started using social media for a long time, for years, just personally, and I think it's, kind of been seen, at least in my generation, as unprofessional to use it in kind of a sense in some ways. And so I really started using it during the pandemic when I was kind of bored. And I wanted to use it to kind of break the stereotype of what a spine surgeon is or what a neurosurgeon is, and to kind of show my personality, to share my journey with others, to show that even people like me can fit in this industry, and then to really just to educate to the public on a really understandable level, which not a lot of people are doing. So why should you think about using social media? It's free marketing. It's easy. And if you think and look around the room, there's probably, like 40 or 50 people here, and maybe not all of you guys are actually listening to me right now. And how much planning and time did it take for all of us to get here today? It's a lot. And my message is getting to just a few of you guys and ladies. But the power that you can reach on social media, everybody is using their phones. Some are using them right now. And you can reach millions of people with one click, and it's free, and your message gets across. So that's really what I want to get at. So like I said, I started using social media during the pandemic. Our hospital was shut down. We weren't able to operate. Really, patients weren't coming to the practice. They were scared to get out. So my PA and I one day we just made a reel about telemedicine and why you should come in and see your doctor, or why you should use telemedicine. I went home that night and just thought, okay, well, I'll just make a reel about what it's like to be a female neurosurgeon. And this is a video I made. This was like my first viral video that really kind of introduced me to social media. So excuse the bad rhythm, but we'll see if this plays. There it goes. One could argue it went viral because I was horribly off on the music, but that's arguable. But anyway, so I had a lot of traction from that video, a lot of engagement, a lot of comments that really just were some negative, but some very inspiring. And that just kind of led me, I was at this point in my career where you get that 8-10 year itch. So I started learning about social and how you can kind of brand yourself and how to be successful. And so over a 3-year period, I've gained over 3.5-ish million followers across 5 different platforms, and have a full-time brand manager that's my best friend. And yeah, so just kind of going through that experience. Why did I choose the name Lady Spine Doc? Well, it kind of began early. I was talking to a patient. I had a patient come in with a burst fracture, had to do a corpectomy, big, long surgery, 6-hour surgery, screws, everything, and I came out to talk to the family, which I didn't get the opportunity to meet going into surgery. Went in, told them the surgery was successful, explained everything, kind of what the recovery will be, and then after I was done with this whole long-winded thing, spent all day with this patient, the family looked at me and they said, well, when's the doctor going to come and when's the surgeon's going to come and talk to us about the surgery? And I was like, okay. Well, I'm the surgeon, so I just explained everything. And he said, wow, a lady spine doctor, good for you. And it was kind of condescending, but it was also very sweet. And this conversation resonated with me and made me choose kind of what my brand name is or social media name is now. So if you do decide to do social media, I would just encourage you to pick a name that's pretty easy, what kind of represents you, and it's easy for people to recall. And I had someone give me the advice of kind of using that same across the platforms, because many people use a variety of different platforms, and that's been helpful to me. So I think there's this myth out there that you can make a lot of money on social media, and I would kind of compare it to medicine. We don't go into medicine for the money because it's a lot of work to get to where we are, and the same thing goes for social. For me, it's a creative outlet. It's a teaching outlet. It allows me to bring awareness to spine problems. It inspires the future of medicine, where there's a lot of negativity about healthcare in general. We were seen as the heroes during the pandemic, and it's kind of turned opposite of that in the past few years. So I think us getting on there, kind of blowing away misinformation that predominates on social media platforms is really helpful. Communicating with other professionals. I wouldn't be here today without my platform, honestly. Developing patient-centered applications, which is a huge passion of mine. And then working with other brands, which is kind of fun. So that's healthcare brands or even other brands outside of healthcare. So if you're thinking about using social media,
you will be popular. You're gonna be popular.
So I've definitely been called into medical staff services more than once about things that I have posted. So I would just encourage you to look at your hospital or company's social media policy and follow it. That we didn't have a social media policy, and then I started posting, and all of a sudden they developed one. I don't know why that was, but anyway, so just make sure you're doing things. And the most important thing I could share is that whatever you put out there, act like millions of people are going to look at it. How are your colleagues going to see your content? How would patients feel if they saw your content? And then, always be open to how others may think about what you're putting out there, which I think is important. This is a picture of me and my daughter, but to get started, you really have to be a good content consumer to create content. I love to consume content. And so, just figure out what's trending, what's in the news, what's applicable, and most importantly, just to be authentic. Who do you want to reach? Are you wanting to reach patients, both present and future? Are you wanting to reach other spine surgeons, referral patterns, the public? So just some tips that I have is just to be consistent. That's the one thing that will allow you to grow. You can't just open up an account and post, once or twice a month. It's just not going to get you to be in a pattern of growth. So what's helped me is just kind of making a schedule of topics that I want to talk about, building a backlog of content. So one day, if I'm feeling very inspired, I will just kind of create several videos to kind of hold on to, be relevant. So earlier this week, Elon Musk posted a tweet about his experience with disc replacement. So that was a hot topic on Twitter. So I took to using that as content because people are talking about it. People want to know about it. What does he mean by X, Y, and Z? And so those kind of things are out in the media. And the good thing about spine is there's always spine problems that are out there to talk about. And be yourself. The best part about being authentic is that there's no image to maintain. You just be yourself and be positive. No one wants to listen to someone that's bitter and negative, nor would any patient want to see a physician that's that way. Consider involvement of your team or your family. For me, that's something that I do frequently. It just allows me to stay kind of consistent. I can just talk about whatever I want, and it's kind of fun. It's a fun thing to bring to my practice. Just know that's incredibly time-consuming. You have to be passionate about it. You have to love what you do. Creating backlogs, creating content in batches. For me, it's really grown my practice. It's been kind of wild, honestly, how patients have come to me from literally all over the world and all over the country to have surgery because they feel like they know me and I've never even met them. And I feel like they have this unfounded trust in me, which is kind of weird, but it's true. Like if you watch somebody and follow someone, you feel like you have a connection with them. They've heard me explain topics and disease processes and surgeries, and so they have this trust for me to know what to do in their case. And then lastly, just treat your patients how you would treat your family. These are all patients of mine. And then treat your family how you would treat your patients. This is my work family. This is Christy, who was diagnosed with breast cancer last year. And then this is my family on the right. And patients, I think a lot of people are just concerned about how they may be viewed. And the brutal truth is not everyone will pick you as their surgeon. They will pick a provider that they bond with, and if that's not me, it is what it is. They need to know who you are, your personality, your passion, why you're in this field. This is a picture of my team. That's me, obviously. That's my surgical tech, nurse, and neuromonitoring tech and PA. Be compassionate. That's it. Thanks.